What's up, y'all? Welcome to my podcast where I'm pushing positivity, purpose, and peace to all student athletes because I believe with these 3 P's, you will not only find success in your sport, but you will find success overall in your life. My mission is to motivate, inspire, and add value to student athletes in hopes that y'all will not only become better players, but you'll become better people. If this content is helpful to you, I would love if you could rate this EP on whatever streaming app you're tuning in from. If you're watching on YouTube, I would love if you could like, comment, subscribe, or even share it with the athlete or coach that you know needs this. I know you guys are gonna get something good out of this. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Until next time. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my pod where I'm pushing positivity, purpose, and peace to all student athletes because I want to help y'all win in your sport, but also in life. This episode is going to be a good one. We got how to be successful as a student athlete in college. How to be successful as a student athlete in college. And this is part 1, y'all. I'm giving y'all 3 parts, okay? And this part is academics, okay? How to have success as a student athlete academically. And I wanted to split it up into 3 parts because first and foremost, I'm not trying to give y'all a 2-hour long pod. Like, I know there's a lot of podcasters that do that. I personally don't think I'm that wavy to do that yet. So I'm not even gonna hold you guys for that long. Secondly, there's a lot that goes into being in this space, which I've pushed for a while now. We are student athletes. Like, those are 2 separate things with whole different responsibilities. We are a student, we are athletes, and we also are people, right? We are a whole person, right? That in all of those entities, all of those areas need separate nourishment. You need to work at them, pour into them to be fruitful. So I'm giving y'all 3 parts, okay? First, academics. Second part, how to have success athletically. Third part, how to have success as a person and socially, okay? I'm super excited to give that to y'all. For those that are new to this space, I'm going to be dropping an EP every first Friday of the month. So the next EP is going to be on July 5th after this one. And maybe it's going to be part 2. Maybe it's going to be a story from a fellow student athlete or coach. I don't know. You guys just got to tap in to find out. So I got my notes here because I can't remember this by heart, you guys. And I would be hurt if you guys tried to make me do that. I'm going to keep them here so we can stay on track. But first and foremost, before we get into the tips and the tricks to help you guys find success academically in college, I want to tell you guys the overarching theme. And the overarching theme for all of these series is going to be time management, okay? Time management is huge, okay? And if you can practice this in your student athlete walk, when you become an adult, you're going to be that much more ahead because time management correlates to credibility. It correlates to trust, right? And those are all things that we need in all areas of our lives. Like, we want to be credible people. We want to be people of honor and valor. And we when you in college and you're trying to get playing time, you want to be able to cross off a lot more areas than not, okay? Because you're going to mess up in the game. In sports, there's a lot of times that you can mess up. That's a part of it. But as a student athlete, how many times are you going to mess up compared to how many times you do something impactful positively for your team on and off the court? We want more positive impacts, right? So we got to get this down. So I'm going to give you guys 5 plays, okay? 5 plays to help you find success academically as a student athlete in college. And I think it's kind of cute because, It's a sports analogy, 5 plays. I think as athletes, we have a love-hate relationship with the sports analogies, or at least I do, because I love them on one hand, but then on the other hand, you know those people that just always try to do a sports analogy and they never played sports, so it low-key be off too, and you're just like, you know, I know how to understand different things. But this one's good. I think this analogy is good, right? We're athletes, we're student athletes, so we like sports analogies, right? So I'm gonna give you guys 5 plays to help you. And the first play that we're gonna start off with is to be proactive with your professor. Be proactive with your professor, okay? I hope you guys are writing this stuff down, that you got your notes, you're paying attention, because I'm gonna give you guys things that will literally like change your college career, okay? This is tea. So if you gotta pause it, go get a pen and a pencil, just lock in, okay? Lock in. So the first play that you guys, if you execute, you will find success, is to be proactive with your professor, okay? One of the things you can do is simply introduce yourself. On the first day of class, go up to your professor, shake their hand, look them in the eye, let them know your name, let them know your sport, and let them know like what you're excited or interested about in the class. This goes a long way, you guys. In college, depending on what school you go to, what university, your classroom sizes could be anywhere from 50 to like 800, right? And we don't want to just be another number. Naturally, as humans, if we have relationships with people, we're more times than not are gonna be more willing to help them, right, and do things for them. And we need our professor on our side, okay? We need our professor on our side. So we wanna take initiative, right? Show them that we care about what we're learning. And I can only imagine that there are some student athletes watching this and they like, girl, I get what you're saying, but I don't care. I don't care about this class. I don't care about what I'm learning. I don't care about the major I'm being forced to choose, and I just wanna hoop. I just wanna ball. I just wanna play my sport. I understand, and I hear you loud and clear. That's very real. College is not exciting for everybody. It's not for everybody. But what I am here to tell you is, if you are a student athlete, that's locked in. Student athlete. And you can't do what you want athletically if your academics aren't up to par. If you don't meet the standard that the NCAA requires and or your coach requires for you to get PT. And even if it's something you don't like, sometimes you gotta fake it till you make it. So find something that could be interesting, or find something that you maybe could have an interest in. I don't know, but what I do know is this stuff is important, okay? And it's important to your athletics as well. So we want to be proactive. We want to act like we care. And sometimes you end up caring and things are a little more interesting than you could have predicted. So we want to be proactive by introducing ourselves the first day. Also, we want to be proactive with communicating with our professor our sport and our sports schedule, okay? This is huge. This is huge. When you communicate with your professor in advance the times that you are going to be gone, especially if you play basketball. Like, basketball is the only NCAA sport that's all year round, dang near, and we're missing significant parts of the winter and spring semester quarter. So we want to communicate what sport we play in our schedule. And I know for me personally, when I did this, the professors were more willing to work with me. Say if there was a final during a time I had a game or I was on an away trip, they would either let me take it beforehand or after. And the times I was after, I actually got a little bit more time. And it's all because I introduced myself. It's all because I'm being proactive and I'm taking accountability for the education that I want to have. You feel me? So we want to do all the things regarding being proactive with our professor. Oh, okay. I just looked at my notes. Also, you guys, we want to sit in front of the class. And I know, like, that seems really nerdy. Like, oh, I'm going to sit in the front. But let me tell you something. Especially if you're a freshman. Please listen. You are going to be tired like you've never been tired before. Okay? And if you sit in the back of that class, especially after training table or after you ate lunch or after a workout, you will fall asleep. You will fall asleep, okay? And one of the trainers out here in the state I'm from, he always says, you know, if you're in the gym, you might as well work hard. Like, if you're here, you might as well bust your butt. You might as well get better. And that's the same in the classroom. If you're in the classroom, you might as well learn. And it sucks when you miss an opportunity to learn in class and now you got to spend time on the back end to make it up. Because we already don't have that much time, you know, just leisure time. So we don't want to waste that time by falling asleep, okay? And I'm gonna be real, sometimes it's not even like you're trying to fall asleep. I know I had some classes in high school where I purposely was like, this is boring, I will now go to sleep. Like, you know, in college there were classes I actually enjoyed and I just found myself asleep. and sometimes it happens, right? It happens to the best of us. I could recall a story. One of my professors, he had like an evening class, so it wasn't just me kind of sleepy in there, it was a lot of us. So he decided he was going to bring some candy, you know, to the class to give it out to people. And I remember he was teaching and I found myself asleep. And I didn't find myself asleep by myself. I found myself asleep because old boy had the candy and threw it at my face. So I woke up to the candy hitting my face and I'm like, oh dang, I was asleep. And I look at him, he not even paying attention to me. He just continues throwing the candy at different students in the class. And I was like, dang, that's crazy, right? So it happens to the best of us. I would encourage you, if you do fall asleep, right, and you know your professor saw you see yourself fall asleep, just go up to them. Go up to them after class and explain the situation. With this professor, I told him, I said, hey, I'm sorry, you threw the candy at my face. That was funny, ha ha ha. But like, I'm sorry, I really do enjoy your class. I had a sleepy moment, right? And sometimes I'll be, oh yeah, okay, that's cool. And sometimes they're not gonna be too happy about it, which is fair. But either way, you want to have that conversation to hold yourself accountable, because they're humans and they're trying to get you something, right? So sit in front of the class because you could go to sleep even in front of the class. That's the moral of the story. So sitting in front is just going to give you that extra edge to help you stay awake, to keep you accountable, to learn. Okay? And the smart people in front of the class. So if you need help, you got some people that can help you, right? Always make relationships with the people in class that know what they're doing. It helped me more times than not when I did this, you guys, because now I get to learn with other people that know what they're doing. I ain't got to struggle by myself, okay? So that is play number 1, be proactive with your professor. Play number 2, okay? Play number 2 is be proactive with your advisor. So if you're a freshman watching this, you may not know, but in college you have an athletic advisor. And your athletic advisor is supposed to be your advocate to your professors and your coach. Okay? Excuse me. It's supposed to be your advocate. And we want to have, just like our professors, we want to have a good relationship with our athletic advisor. This is because they're working on our behalf to help us graduate, to help us when we're having a rough season. We don't want to miss meetings with them. We don't want to have a bad relationship with them, because when things hit the fan, and sometimes they do, you want them to be able to say, no, this person is a hard worker. They're doing what they need to do. They're working on it, right? So one of the things that I would give you guys to discuss with your professor often is your classes. Update them on how your classes are going. If classes are difficult, if your professor is, competent or not, like talk to them about everything, because a lot of the times you may get a class that doesn't work with your athletic schedule, meaning either you got a lot of labs, right, and you're going to be missing them, or maybe the workload is too much, right? And maybe it's something that isn't necessarily a you problem, but it's a seasonal problem. And it's a class that doesn't suit winter, but it could be better fit in spring. You guys get what I'm saying? And those conversations, like, are advantages for us as student athletes. Other students, they have to pick and decide their schedule and shuffle it themselves. We have people that will go, like, be on the computer, look at the classes, help us choose our classes, okay? That's an advantage for us. And we want to utilize that tool, that in that service they're giving us. So discuss with them, and they can be like, okay, yeah, maybe we need to get you out this class. And we don't want to wait, you guys, 1-2 months down the line where you can't drop it, or 1 or 2 months down the line where you're failing, right? Everything about being a successful student athlete in college is about time management, and a lot of it is proactive, okay? If you can learn to be proactive, I promise you, it will translate in all areas of your life positively, okay? So talk to them about your classes. Also, communicate often about being on time to graduate. Y'all, I can't tell you how many people struggle with this, and they get to the end and they're not on track to graduate. They got 2 or 3 more classes, right? Because sometimes you switch majors. You don't got to declare your major until your sophomore year. And sometimes with that, you may take, a class that leads you to this major, or you may take classes that lead you to that major. But either way, you gotta peep and be on how you switching. Be like, okay, if I do this, like if I move this, will I still be on track to graduate? Because sometimes they'll do their little research and be like, oh, actually, no, you got to do this and that. So we want to constantly have that on the forefront of our mind, because not only is it embarrassing when you get to the end and you're not on track to graduate, but you have to pay out of pocket for those classes. If you were on scholarship, that sucks because you weren't paying up until this point. And obviously things happen. You got to do what you got to do. But if you have a full ride scholarship, you want to get the most out of that full ride. You don't want to pay out of pocket, okay? So make sure you're communicating with your advisor often about being on track to graduate, okay? We want to get it in that 4 years. I don't think after this anybody is from COVID, so we want to get that. Okay, I had to cut a couple of clips because I had some mean sneezes. 3 mean sneezes, but I cut them out so you guys didn't have to bear with me with those. But anyways, play number 2 is be proactive with your advisor. Play number 3. Are you guys still with me? Like, I hope you guys are really feeling what I'm saying because I'm putting you on for real. Play number 3 is to bring snacks and drinks to your class, okay? This is more of a fun one, right? Because we all like snacks and drinks, so we want to bring this stuff to our class. Why? Because you will feel tired. Like, there's just something about working out all day and then sitting down. Your body's naturally gonna be relaxed. You want to be proactive, right? This is a constant word. And bring things that can help you stay up. Personally, I recommend something healthy, right? Because we want our bodies to do a lot for us mentally and physically. So, some carrots and hummus, or maybe, a fruit roll. Fruit roll-ups aren't healthy. There's healthy ones though. those kind of be taxing. But you guys know what I'm saying? Like a smoothie, a sandwich. Sometimes I would wait to eat my lunch and eat it in class, right? And if you are gonna be crunching like on a sandwich and some chips, maybe that day you sit a little further in the back, right? Because you don't want to be a distraction. But bring something to help you stay up. I personally, I wouldn't recommend like trying to listen to music or anything unless it's jazz. But even that, I think professors, they see that as a sign of disrespect. So I wouldn't personally do that at that time. But I definitely utilize food as your energy source. And there are some professors that don't really tolerate eating food in class, unfortunately. And I actually had one. It was from one of my favorite professors and one of my favorite classes. It was environmental justice. And I remember I fell asleep in her class. And this was probably like my junior year. And I was in the front, so she saw me. And I told her, I said, hey, like, I'm sorry I fell asleep in the class. I'm just, I'm tired. I'm a student athlete, la, la, la. And then she said, yeah, I understand that, but if you could just find a way, because it's hard to focus and give the lecture when I see you sleep. And I said, absolutely. I'm going to try my best. I know that you have a rule that you don't like us to eat in class, but I need to eat. If you want me to stay up, I need to eat. I'm not going to be messy. I'm not going to be loud, but that's like one of my tools. And from that conversation, y'all, she let me eat in class. Just from communicating, like having that exchange, she was able to understand like, okay, I have to give, right? So conversations go a long way, and sometimes you just got to be flexible. Maybe you got to sneak a snack in. I'm not telling y'all a lot, but sometimes you may have to, get a little fruit snack and put it in your mouth so you can stay up. Whatever you got to do, gum, whatever. So, play number 3, if you want to have success academically, regardless if it's going to class, study groups, tutoring, bring a snack, bring an energy drink. Bring whatever you need to stay up. Okay, maybe I'm not a fan of energy drinks, so when I mean energy drinks, I guess I was talking about like a Gatorade or something. Yeah, but you gonna do what you gonna do. You grown, so you gonna do what you gonna do. So play number 4. Okay, we are almost there, guys. We got 2 more plays for y'all to help you find success as a student athlete. Play number 4 is, this is my favorite one. Play number 4, fall in love with your calendar. Fall in love with your calendar/planner. This is a tremendous hack as a student athlete. There are so many things that we're juggling, as we've already discussed briefly. We don't want to get it mixed up. The calendar and planner helps you foresee potential conflicts, which happens a lot being a student athlete, right? I remember my freshman year, I had an advisor, my athletic advisor, and I had double booked our meeting. It wasn't in totality that it was exact same time, but it was like maybe 30 minutes off. So I remember I had messenger. I was like, oh snap, like I'm coming from my meeting with my professor. I apologize, I'm on my way. And I get there to her office, y'all, and we just chatting, we laughing, and oh yeah, how's it going, la la la. And then I leave. I'm like, okay, that worked out, like, okay. And then, y'all, I look down at my phone, I get a text, her, all 4 of my coaches, and myself. Nia was late to our meeting. She wasn't responsible, and she overbooked herself. I was like, dang, like you didn't even tell me you was gonna do that, right? And I was a little salty at the time, but looking back, I'm so glad she gave me that tough love, because it helped me learn, like, okay, if I don't want to keep double booking myself, I gotta get organized and I gotta be proactive, right? Because You don't want no text going to your coach that looks bad, and that could affect your playing time if you keep having things like that happen consistently. So what a planner does for you, of course it helps you get organized, but it helps you better communicate effectively, right? So if you have all your stuff down on your calendar, now when you go to your professor, you can say, hey, on this day I have this, can we change this? Or hey, on this day, like, I actually need to go to my professor's office hours, can I do rehab after 4 p.m. or whatever the situation. It helps you make better decisions, right? And that's what we want to do ultimately as a student athlete. Also, what I loved about it, this is something that I did, and I would recommend you guys do this too. Get your syllabus from your professors. Each one of them. Get your syllabus and get the schedule when assignments are due and when tests are. Put that in your calendar. Put it in your calendar, okay? Then get your schedule for sports. Put that in your calendar. Boom, right? So you got the due dates of all your classes and when things are due, and then you got the due dates of when your games are. Now you may not be able to know like when you're gonna travel and do all those things, because some coaches, they give you your travel schedule at different times. Some coaches are really proactive and some are not. You don't really get to choose, right? So you do your best with that. You can guesstimate like, okay, it might be two or 1 or 3 days, that I'm gonna need of a buffer before we go, but you'll be able to figure that out. That's not a problem. But after you have your class schedule on your when things are due on your calendar, and you have your athletic schedule, now this is the fun part. You can choose when you're going to do things based on when your practices are, based on when your rehab is, based on how you're feeling. If you think, oh, during this week I have a lot more assignments, I'm gonna be tired, right? You can maybe do it and plan to do your homework on a week that you're not as busy. And overall, what that is doing is pre-deciding. It's the power of pre-deciding, okay? There's something about that just relieves stress and anxiety when all you have to do is execute the play and you know you're gonna win. For me, pre-deciding my schedule, it gave me so much more certainty. One, that I wasn't missing anything, and two, that if I executed it, I know that I'm getting things done when they need to be done. There's times, you guys, where like you'll have really busy days and you may not want to write a 5-page paper on that day. Maybe you put that on Tuesday, right? Because it's due on Friday and you get it done on Wednesday, and then now you have more free time to do other things, right? So pre-deciding, it kind of helps you, like, you have more control. Like, okay, Tuesday I got a light day, I'm gonna do a lot of homework on that day, and then on Wednesday we got practice and we have media and we have events, so I'm not gonna really do too much homework that day. I'm gonna just have a chill day, right? But once you have, when things are due, you have more autonomy on how you create your schedule within your schedule. You feel me? So you're not doing everything all at once, feeling like you're playing catch up. Okay? And there was something else, y'all, that I wanted to say about that, but I can't remember. I can't remember. I'm sorry. But overall, we want to take control of the time that we have. And okay, this is also what I wanted to tell you. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. If you're not a good planner, if you're not a good organizer, that's okay. Typically, schools, universities, they have tutors to offer student athletes. Take it. Like, don't let your pride stop you from asking for help. I know a lot of people get caught up in that, but if you don't get help, you're gonna drown. And your pride is not worth you drowning. I've gotten tutors in my undergrad and in my grad program. It's all good. Like, I'd rather know what I'm doing than not. You know what I mean? Because that's not a good feeling, to feel dumb or like you don't get it for an extended period of time, right? We all have different strengths and gifts, and that's okay. That's okay, but get a tutor, like, if you need help. And I think one of the things that is nice about a tutor is, like, they can help you in your homework to where something you're trying to figure out by yourself could take you 2 hours, but with the tutor, it's only taking you 45 to an hour. That's saving you time on the back end to sleep, to rest, to talk with friends, whatever. So don't be afraid to utilize the resources available to you as an athlete. Get a tutor. Like, it will help you in your athletic and academic career, right? Because we need our academic to be right for our athletics to be good. Okay? The fifth and final play, you guys made it this far. The fifth play is find a spot that you can focus for your homework. Find a place to study. This is important because sometimes, there's a lot of areas that you can get distracted in college, especially when you want to be with your friends, and it's real cool to be with them, but there's a time and a place for everything. And when you have homework to do, when you have something that you are trying to learn, it's not really time to be social. And there's going to be times when you're tempted and it's tough and you want to kick it and you want to laugh, ha ha ha, but guess what? You're not going to be laughing when you stressed and you don't know what you're doing, right? Because when you're doing homework, you are doing it to understand, right? We're not just going to keep kicking the can down the hill and it just, doing the homework, not understanding, and then when it comes to the test, now we got a big problem. If you don't get it during the homework, you're not going to get it during the test. And that's real awkward when you're getting A's on the homework because you're just doing it to do it, and then you get to the test and you get a big fat F. That's embarrassing. They're gonna be like, oh, chat GBT. Oh, okay. Oh, Sparks Notes. Like, they're not gonna believe you really did the homework. And yeah, some of us probably don't really do the homework for real, on our own. But we want to learn. So that time when you're doing homework, do it. Pay attention. Have that time to really figure out what's going on. Ask your tutor, ask your professor. Like I said earlier, if you're in the gym, you might as well get better. If you're in the classroom, you might as well learn. If you're doing your homework, you might as well learn. A test will come, okay? And one of the pro tips I could give you for this is find a spot, one or two, that you do consistently. Studies show that our bodies associate certain spaces with certain things, right? And there's actually a benefit to associating an action or behavior with the space. So say if your places is like the library and then a coffee shop. Your body, if you continue to do your homework there, your body's going to recognize okay, this is a place for me to study. It's time for me to lock in. It's going to be easier for you to do that. That's why people say if you want to have good sleep, don't go to bed with your phone. Don't be on FaceTime in the bed a lot. Don't, be scrolling on TikTok in your bed, because when you go in your bed to sleep, whether you want to really sleep or not, you're not going to be able to. It's going to be much harder because your body is associating your bed with FaceTime, TikTok, calls, whatever, right? So it's powerful. Use it to your advantage. Find a couple spots for you to study. When it is away games, it is a little harder, right? Because you don't know what's going to be available to you. If you are a freshman or a transfer, sometimes the coaches will have you do study hall with the whole team, or if you are a person and your grades aren't up to par, you'll have to do study hall typically. It's not like that everywhere, but most of the time. I personally don't like that group study hall with everybody and the coaches. I already see the coaches 24/7. I don't need you on my neck when I'm trying to learn too. That's just me. But regardless, right? You want to find that time. You want to find that space where you can get into it. And also, away trips can be really tiring, draining for some people. Get with a group of teammates that lock in when it's homework time. I think being around other people can also energize you and inspire you in that short span. So if you have a couple of homies that get after it academically, I would go with them and do homework, so you have that energy, inspiration right there, because you got people locking in with you. You know you're not alone, and then it can help you study and focus even more. So don't be afraid to utilize group sessions if they are also responsible. Don't be with people that is clowning, because you're going to be clowning all day and then be surprised when you look in the mirror and you the clown and you don't know anything. Right? So we want to prevent that. We want to prevent that, absolutely. So final thoughts. 1, let's go over our plays. Let's go over our plays. 1, be proactive with your professor. 2, be proactive with your academic advisor. 3, bring snacks. That was 3, right? Bring snacks to class. 4, we want to fall in love with our calendar and our planner. That's going to help us be able to pre-decide. That's going to help us foresee potential conflicts, right? And get everybody on the same page. And lastly, find a couple spots that you can consistently go to for your academics, for your studies, okay? I hope you guys got something out of this. Like, I'm really putting you on putting you on game. This is gonna transform your walk as a student athlete if you execute these plays. I know you're gonna win. You're gonna score every time, for real. And your lows are gonna be different, right? Executing these plays, you're not gonna get too low. You're always gonna have that favor and that accountability to propel you into your next goals and your next plan. So before I leave, I want to leave you guys with a quote that says, you can only manage time if you track it right. You can only manage time if you track it right. That's all I got, fam. I hope you guys paid attention. If you're looking at anybody that has success academically as a student athlete in college, they are executing, if not all of these 5 plays, majority of them, okay? I'm wishing y'all the best in your student athlete journey. Make sure you check out my other videos for tips and tricks on how to survive this space, navigate life. Until next time. Sorry. Okay. Hello? Okay, let's just do it. This is how you be successful. Do you want to be successful? Let me know. Do you want to have success? Do you want to have success as a student athlete in college?